quick review of 14th of January. This is another one where I didn't end up filling, and I'm mostly gonna go over buy, even if this was at the spot that we wanted and talked a lot about. So there's been 4 spots in this range. It's been 05, which was earlier, which hit pretty nice multiple times. This is way back here in like December, I think it was. Then there's been 30s, 6930, 6960, and 6990. That's been the 3 spots in this balance range that I'm mainly taking trades around. So a lot of these lows or the range areas that we did want, I still end up missing just because of the price action and how we trade into those. And this is a really typical example of something I tend to miss. And the main reason for this is, it's coming down into the 30s. Like you see the low here is like what, 924. Especially if I'm alerting and I want people to have a good risk. Like I want people to fill a little bit later than me, since it's sometimes hard to trade, alert, and have people fill the same price. And this is an example where this could just get kind of... So there's no real good low here to me to really lean against. So we have this first low that we made. See, this was 926. We drove below IB, which I waited for it to set. This is the first hour range. This is IB. And profile was still balanced all the way. Or it's a very weird balanced profile, but lots of volume, and I still consider balance. So we drove below. We're pretty high volume sell. And then this low has almost no volume to it at all. And then the drive away from it, which is the most important to me, is this one right here. But this drive is occurring almost 20 points away from the low. And that's the one that has volume. And considering this, it's a pretty high chance it's not a good low to me. And if I tell people to buy here or here, we might get a few other, but it comes back. So any late fills is getting kind of there. So for it to be a good low, this area would need to happen right down here, especially with the volume. So I missed this one, and then it comes back down, straight back to 30s again, and it just makes these almost equal lows here. And you can see the volume is just non-existent, which can be a good sign that it's not breaking down because there's no interest in selling lower here. But finding a risk here is, in my opinion, very hard. So I ended up sitting this whole thing out. If this would have been a good low here, maybe it would have taken out this low, drove down, had some sort of volume increase. Like if I had this volume over here as it came back up, then you could risk this or risk against the drive back up. But this one has almost nothing, or it has nothing. You can see this is something you kind of want it to look like right here, but it needs to have some volume to support it, or else it's just a thin move. So this one is very hard for me to find a risk against. In hindsight, it's like, you could just buy 30s and risk like the first low, but you never know, right? The only thing is like maybe this response right here, or the fact that we have some high volume sell here that doesn't go lower. I think this is the only thing, like this high volume shelf. This is some initiation that didn't break a new low. Like someone tried to do something here, a lot of volume came in on this smack back down. It did not crack this low. I think that's the only setup that I maybe would have had. But then again, the climb back up here is just super light, and it doesn't really start to drive before way over here. So this is a very hard one to me. So it's one of the, it's not hard in that sense, but it's hard to find a trade on it. So it's one of the, a lot of my things are, I can have a view on it, but then the execution doesn't align. So that's why a lot of times you're going to see me say something and not trade it or miss it. And that's because something like this, I usually need some sort of volume or change to actually take the trade and find the risk myself, or else I don't feel that confident in it. It needs to be something that tells me, okay, something is happening here in that area that I want to trade or risk against. But on that, it does have the range, pretty decent range. You can see where VPUC was when we actually sold down there to see the range. Because that's usually my first target. Got IB right there. I did watch this one too, the first drive down, but it never hit 30s. So IB set, there's definitely good range here, but very, very close to shifting. That means the range becomes a bit lower. See, the second it drives upper, the POC shifts, and after that, it shifts down, which is once again usually a setup I like. I like when POC shifts, but for me to gain a risk on this is a long setup I usually like, but we never got the drive down again that I need for the risk. So if you have a profile like this and POC or inventory shifts to the lower end of it, usually my setup is POC shifts, take out the new low, make a new low. This is now the risk, the stop. It comes back up, and then take the long back to POC and higher. But as you can see here, like we talked about, this never takes out the low, so I never found the risk I wanted. Then it ends up just balancing on this POC. And I said this could have been on just because the volume, but to me, I ended up passing on it. So this is usually a setup with POC and breaking a new low, but this one sadly just no feel for me. Didn't really like the lows or the risk event, especially if I want to alert it. So yeah.